Today we're going to continue to work on Power Automate and some scripts here, and a common problem that you may run into related to a field here, and we have to change it. So stay tuned. We're going to jump right to this kind of troubleshooting a Power Automate when we have a send email and it's not picking up a variable. So stay tuned. So within this source here, you can see we're collecting data from a list here, and we're massaging this data, as you can see here, to collect specific things based on a date and a text field. Now we need to add an email address, because inside of the list is actually the email address that we want to send this notification to. Although if we put the email address in here directly, what will happen is exactly what you see here, is it's going to create a loop based on the value of the get items. Okay, so it's going to do a loop and say, hey, I need to set up this email. But when you put the loop inside of here, it's going to send you duplicate email messages, so that ain't going to work. So we're going to have to implement a variable, as you see. And so we've implemented this variable here, and we've called it var email. We've made it a string, and that's all good. We've done our get items from the source with the filter that we've applied. So pause the video. This is the date equals today, and status 2, which is a column, equals new RMA. So pause if you need to do that, and you just call it out here. So we get that, and now we're taking that value, whatever that sorted value is, and now we're pulling out the email address. But the problem is, if I go in here to my dynamic content, you should be able to just say email, right? And it should come up. But for some reason, in this list, it does not find the item. So here is the email inside of the list itself. So you can see we have all the columns filled out, and Susie is the one we're looking for within this script here, with an R8 date of 7/11. So here we have the notification, and we're calling out the variable, but it's failing. So let me show you why it failed, and then we'll come back and troubleshoot it together. So here you can see that the item failed, and it looks all good, right? But let's go back and see where the item could have failed from. We'll do that here. We'll want to verify, first of all, that we have everything from the source. So we're going to click to download, and we can see the source. Now we can move this into Code Beautify, and it's going to look exactly like this. Value 1 right there, Susie, new RMA. We go down to where the email address is right here, and notice that the email address is not called what it is called in the SharePoint list. It's called, I think, tech email or something of that nature. Hold on here. Tech email. So it's not called that within the list. Notice here that it's called field_8. Well, in our script, when we look at this failed script, we can go down here to apply to each. We can see the variable, and notice here that the variable is coming up with null. Notice here that the error right here that we're receiving, the error generated from this right here, the send an email, is saying, hey, we can't send something that's empty or null. So your first indication will be, hey, well, it's not empty, it's right there. The second thing you have to say in the troubleshooting effort is it recognizing the field name. In order for us to find out what that field name is, again, we really have to just capture that output like we did in the previous step, post it in here, and we can see field 8. So our problem is not necessarily that the data is not there. The problem is that the data is not being recognized for the way we've input it. It's calling it field 8. So that's okay. We just need to fix it now. So to fix it, we're going to just hit edit, And we're going to go in, and I think I already fixed it, but if I didn't, we'll fix it together. So here it is right here. So tech email, that's exactly what we wanted. But notice here when I hold it open, do you see how it says field 8 at the end? But for some reason, it's not seeing it. So let's help it see it. And the way we do that is by writing an expression. And so we're just going to write in item, and we're going to say what the item is, dot, and we're going to say field, gotta spell it right, by the way, field underscore 8, and we're going to put that in. Now, when we run this test again, it should come up and find it. The variable should fill because it's going to fill based on item right there, item dot field 8. So let's go ahead and see if this works. And we're going to go ahead and hit run flow and done. You're going to see it come up here. It's gone through everything. Let's see if it set the email variable. Sure enough, it set the variable. And notice here now we have a green check mark there that everything's good to go. So that's really the way that we troubleshoot through this issue. Remember, the key here to remember is just because it says that the column is here and that's the name of the column doesn't always mean that Power Automate is seeing that data the way it is. And remember, to look at that data, we can look at the blob here, which is kind of the output that you get right here. And I was able just to look at it quickly and see field 8 equals the email address. But you can always use something like Code Beautify to just dump it in there and just kind of investigate and see exactly the field that you need, and then use the item command and expression within the expressions, and you'll be good to go.